if I leave you in between.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Allan Barry Labucan here. I'm the founder of the Allan Barry Reports and the host of the show. Today, I've got some special guests. I've been really watching out for companies with bonanza grade gold discoveries. I think that that's the stuff that gets the market's attention. I started covering Amex Gold or Amex Exploration when they were about 55 cents. They've been as high as almost $1.50, and right now I think today they're trading at about $1.20. I've got Victor Cantore and Kelly Malcolm from the team of Amex. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us.
Victor, did I say your name properly?
Absolutely. Cantore, that's perfect. That's great.
Cantore, good. I like the picture in your background there. I can see the visible gold up in the top right corner.
Yeah, let me give you a closer look. Yeah, it's quite impressive. These pictures were done from the core. They're blow-ups from the core. It's really quite impressive. There's two of them on that side also. It's
that must have stopped some people at the booths at the PDAC.
Yeah, we got a little bit of attention.
What's that?
We got some attention.
When I do the PDAC, I do my tour, and that's the kind of stuff I look out for. So I'm sure you guys. Hey, by the way, how was the attendance and the vibe at the PDAC?
Oh, fantastic! Everyone's there. People have made a lot of money recently in the gold sector on a couple different stories, and I think that it's bringing back the sentiment that you can add a lot of value in the mining industry to your own personal portfolios, and I think people are having fun with that idea again.
Yeah, well, I think for a while there we were suffering because of all the people going to blockchain and wheat deals and technology, but the romance might be back on for mining again.
We hope so. We hope we can help with that.
Yes, well, you guys definitely have been. I follow about a handful of companies that have come up with bonanza to high grade type gold systems, and Great Bear's one of them. I'm sure you guys have heard of that one. The other one I'm watching is one down in Nevada, Walker River. I'm watching that West Haven a little bit. And what I watch for, and I'm sure you guys do as well, is continuity in these high-grade systems. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen so far in the drilling.
Sure. So our original discovery hole was made at the end of 2017. We hit, I think it was 12.2 grams over 4.6 meters. Within that interval, we identified two quartz veins. One had around 15 grams per ton over half a meter, I believe, and the other one was 47 grams over about a meter. So when you conventionally look at these high-grade vein systems, there's a potential that it's caused by a nugget effect and perhaps an isolated event. So our follow-up hole hit significantly higher gold mineralization. We hit, I believe, 270 grams per ton over 1.35 meters. Our further follow-up hole, which was hole 22,
now this was in the fall of 2018, correct?
So original discovery hole was done December 2017, reported at the beginning of 2018. Our follow-up drilling campaign was late fall, early winter of 2018. So December we started drilling, and we're continuing to drill right now. So essentially we've been intersecting this high-grade mineralization continuously, originally in a vertical array, and then just on, I think on the 27th of Feb, we announced our first step-out hole, which also was very high-grade mineralization, but has now shown that we're adding some strike length to this system as well, and showing strong continuity from Pierce Point to Pierce Point as drilled so far.
Yeah, I think it was your first hole of 2018 or 2019 here that I picked up on the story. I was a little bit late to the. I thought I missed the boat because it moved from like 20 cents to mid 50s, but I'm a sucker for that bonanza grade gold, guys.
So am I.
And since then, what's really made me happy, I made you guys a pick, is the additional holes on a vertical step outs, as well as now this. I'm not going to play around with the screen share. Sometimes it can cause us some difficulty technically, guys. So, but that step out hole now catching it laterally as well. Things are starting to get pretty exciting. Why don't you give us a little more detail, color on the depth and the strike?
Sure. So I'll jump on that one. So we announced yesterday the expansion of our drilling program. An additional 10,000 meters of drilling has been approved, and that is ongoing. We essentially will just continue drilling from our previous drill program, with the objective and the idea being to understand the strike length of the system in the near surface portion, continue to define the continuity of the system, and then what's also really exciting for us is once we get a better handle or a complete handle on the geometry and the shape of this vein system, we're going to start stepping down at depth. And typically these systems in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt have a strong depth component to them. There's ratios that some people use of strike to depth extension, which we have to test. But
Is it a similar story to what they find at Red Lake, where 1,000 meters and below is where things get really exciting? Or
so conventionally in these Archean greenstone belts in Canada, that can happen. We of course have no indication that grade gets better at depth. It's hard to get better than what we've been intercepting so far.
just keep intercepting that, guys.
Yes, I'll be happy with that.
Absolutely.
Very happy with that. So that's the plan, is to now start building up a resource on this story, and that happens both laterally and going down to depth and infilling as we do as well.
What got me interested really early was you guys have in your presentation a cross section. And when you first made the early discoveries holes, what caught my attention about that cross section is that at that point it looked like you had the high grade lens and the lower grade vein possibly coming together at depth. And then recently you also show up veins that's in between those two, which looks like they could be all coming together. Am I reading that cross section right? It was the
Absolutely.
reason I picked you guys.
It's really, we have a similar hypothesis, Allan, but it's really encouraging or compelling that could happen at depth. As it stands on its own, we're very encouraged with the mineralization that we've seen. But yeah, I've made the same inference as you, that it seems to be looking like it's merging together as we go down deeper in the system.
And another thing I noticed in that in the low grade lens was that it looks like at the contact there was some pretty good grades in there as well on either side of the contact.
You're an astute researcher. I agree. There's some nice panels of higher grade mineralization within that low grade zone. So our secondary objective with our upcoming drilling program is to test the low grade portion at roughly 50-meter centers. So essentially 1 in every 8 holes will drill through the low grade zone, with the objective of identifying potential panels of higher grade mineralization within that low grade zone and potentially building up ounces, which coupled together with our high grade zone could be a very compelling and attractive story for a development.
Well, if they come together and then you've got these high grade shoots sort of creating bonanza mineralization, that's sort of starting to sound like what they mine over at Red Lake with these lenses that are kind of on echelon in the system.
Again, very astute. um, yeah, I see a lot of analogs to what's happened over at Red Lake in the past. Um, these vein systems typically don't occur in isolation. There's some exploration upside and exploration potential proximal to this current discovery and elsewhere on the property. We're fully cashed up for some regional exploration work, and we may be able to get into that later on in the year.
So going forward, you expect to, what's helping you with the targeting of the along strike drilling? You only put one hole out there and you hit it on the first hole, so there must be something giving you an indicator where to go there.
So what we did what you would call fan drilling. So we set up a number of drill holes from a single collar in order to. So the objective here is we're anticipating that this is a planar or like a sheet-like vein system. The objective to determine the orientation was to drill it from different angles in order to determine its lateral extension. Is it running truly east-west, northeast, southwest, etc.? It seems to be quite east-west, but what we did was we drilled basically a fan in a number of different directions, targeting 25-meter spacings on our step outs, both laterally and vertically as well.
So it's probably a dual type effort, right? To keep trying to expand along strike and then also to get deeper into the system.
Yeah, this is a discovery that was only made really a couple months ago. So it's new. It seems quite simple. We have a very brilliant chairman, a PhD geologist who's been involved in gold exploration for a number of years, and is simplifying things a lot for us in our exploration methodology.
Well, it's nice when the drill holes and the rocks agree with them.
Absolutely.
It's always nice when that works out. And that brings up a topic that one of my old geologist mentors taught me, and he said that they all start out with big geophysical, big geochem targets, but but usually what happens is they get smaller as they put the truth machine to work. You guys are actually and the opposite is in a good scenario, possible mine, as you do more work, it seems to get better and better. I think that's what you guys have established so far at depth and along strike, that you're not cutting this thing off. And when you're talking about those grades, it doesn't take a lot of size to have some serious ounces.
No, we agree. High grade is king. Everyone always says that. We're in total agreement with that statement. We've announced in our past press releases as well that we've identified some additional visible gold mineralization that is in the lab at the moment. So some of those holes may come out in the future.
Where is this in relation to the high grade zone?
It's within exploratory drilling on the high grade zone. So testing the strike extent and testing the system itself. So we'll have some news hopefully whenever the lab finishes up in the next few weeks.
You'll have some more news.
We'll have continual news flow with this 10,000 meter program for the next few months as we basically release batches of drill holes as they come in.
So how is the season there? Are you able to work year round? Is there anything stopping you during the year?
So our infrastructure is fantastic. You can drive to our project in a Honda Civic. You can drill year round. No helicopters required for drilling. It's a really fantastic infrastructure project.
You can often see that in juniors when you look at the share structure, which is another reason why I like you guys a lot, is that when you're in these helicopter projects and cost, It's very easy to see 100, 200 million shares out these days. Let's get into your share structure a little bit, guys. What? Give me the numbers. What's your current issued, outstanding options, warrants, that sort of stuff?
around 54 common shares out right now. 11 million warrants,
That's
roughly. 2 million options. 70.5 fully diluted.
That's right. On a fully diluted, 70.5. But on a fully diluted basis, if you count the new money that would come in plus with the money that we have now, that means we'd have over in excess of $10 million.
You guys just did a financing with who was Sprott?
Yeah.
Eric Sprott was the lead order on that financing. We're very happy to have him on board. And actually, he just filed some SEDI stuff that he's been purchasing in the market as well. So he's a great supporter of us, and we're happy to have him on the team.
He's a bit of a sucker for that Bonanza Gold stuff too, eh?
We all love the high grade.
We all love the high grade, that's for sure.
Okay, so 70 million fully diluted. We give you guys 10 million in cash if everything was exercised. So again, here you're well below the 100 million. I love that part of it. You've got about an $80 million valuation in the sector these days. That's pretty reasonable for what being with the infrastructure and everything. I think you make a compelling story for a higher valuation. So how do we get there? Tell us a little more about it's drilling now.
Drilling. You got it. That's it. That's all. Expand and can hope that we have continued success in our exploration strategy. And I think that the drill bit will speak for itself as we continue to drill. And we're very hopeful and looking forward to a fruitful drilling season and year.
It's in these systems that have that kind of bonanza grade, it tends to, not just peter out when you've now shown it over some size. It doesn't look like it's an isolated incident. So you guys, you know what to look for now.
Well, we can get lucky and find other shoots within that system. That doesn't mean that's the only shoot that's in that system.
That is an excellent point. We've already seen 3 separate veins in that system, and you could have a whole cluster of them.
Correct. You never know.
You just never know. The land package is a huge land package. I think it's 8 kilometers by 10 kilometers. These things are not usually isolated. I'm not saying that there is. I'm not suggesting that there is either, but there is a possibility. It's exploration.
There's very little exposed rock at surface, Allan. So we're an explore by drill bit project and property. And now we've got the capital to do so, and the technical team that is hopefully very capable of identifying similar targets. We know that there are similar structures on the property elsewhere, and I've got a number of targets that we could go and drill soon.
That's perfect. I was you hit on the questions I was going to ask about structure and potential plumbing system, and I guess if it doesn't come to surface, you've got to follow the drill bit. But when you're hitting those kind of numbers, it's a nice thing to be following.
Absolutely.
So, guys, I kind of try to do these as an ongoing sort of telling the story as it evolves kind of thing. I'm really happy that you were able to come on and give us some color into your exploration efforts, and I hope I can get you back again in the future, guys, so we can keep following the progress.
Absolutely.
It'll be our pleasure.
Okay. Oh, and so on the final note, we've got a good understanding of what you found, where you're going to be looking, funding. You just did the big thing with Sprott, so you're good to go, right, for the rest of the year.
Drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, that's how she says it.
Go find us some more of that bonanza grade gold, boys.
Right on. Thanks so much for having us on.
That's the plan.
All right. So we'll get you on again. Thanks a lot. And I'm going to wrap things up, guys.
Great.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Alan.
And I'll send you a link as well when the show's, it should be 15, 20 minutes from now.
All right.
Fantastic.
Great.
Thank
There
you.
you go, folks. Our friends from Amex Exploration. I forgot to ask them about their name. It's a name from the past. When I first got into the business, there was a big Amex mining company that got taken over. Maybe they'll be the next big Amex company. They've got a very exciting high-grade gold system that's kicked out bonanza grade over a vertical depth of about 150 meters or so. As Kelly mentioned, they've got some more holes pending that look much like what they had hit on the vertical step outs, as well as on the visible gold in the lateral step out. So this was starting to shape up to look like a pretty big system, and they're funded. They can go drill like crazy. So that's the story for now, and I'm going to keep up on it. Before closing, I always want to remind people that the show is for information purposes only. It's important for you to do your homework, speak with your financial advisors, but I really think Amex is one you want to keep an eye on. On that note, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.